This is a $40 keyboard from 2020 and this is a $40 keyboard from 2024. The difference between these two is quite obvious. The mechanical keyboard hobby has come a very long way since the pandemic, and in 2024 we are getting so many great keyboards under $50 and $60 range. And today I'm going to talk about one of such, the Xinmeng M87 series. I'm sure many of you have seen me praising its predecessor X87. This board is even better in all aspects, with better keycaps, switches, looks and overall sound signature, costing the same. It's like the X87 but cranked it up to the notch. Oh, so thanks to the folks at Gadget Nova BD for sending up the board. Okay, now let's go into the details. This M87 has a few variants. To simplify, there is the M87 and there is M87 Pro with the same thing minus the RGB side glow. Since Xinmeng M87 and M87 Pro are pretty similar, so this specific review is applicable for both of the boards. In my hand is the M87 RGB wired variant with Xinmeng Black Plum switches. You can get this specific variant across various stores for BDT 4300 or around $40. The M87 comes in a very familiar TKL layout, which is my favorite and for most of the users is quite accessible. Looks-wise, it's super gorgeous with pretty well built ABS plastic case, an RGB diffuser on the both sides and a nice strip above the arrow keys. The case has this accent between the top and the bottom case. At the back there are these adjustable feet for tapping angle adjustment. It weighs around 700 grams. This nice case is complemented by these OEM profile double shade PVD keycaps in various colorways, including Tiffany, Olivia and many more. Keycaps quality wise, they are super durable and pretty nice to type on. And for the majority of the people, the OEM profile double shade PBT is ideal. They do not shine through though. M87 uses gasket mounting, and it's great to see so many budget keyboards that come with gaskets at this price point. This board uses silicon gasket sock on polycarbonate plate, coupling with the FlexCard PCB. Combining this both, the typing experience is softer and flexier with nice, deep thocky and even sound across the board. The PCB is 5-pin Hotswap supporting all MX style switches out there. The Hotswap sockets are non-branded one and are clones of KL and Gatron. This is a recurring pattern I am seeing in the $40–50 budget boards. The PCB thickness is 1.2mm with flex cuts. The RGB LED is south facing like most enthusiast-grade keyboards with full spectrum available. Just keep in mind that not all shine-through keycaps will work with this setup. You'll need to get the side-printed ones. But I don't think you need to go for the shine-through ones because these are already great. Why bother downgrading? Also, all the PCB RGB diffuser and the top strip RGB can be changed using the onboard key combos without using the software. In reality, the PCB is excellent both in form of a hardware and a software point of view. Of course, the board comes in with a software, but don't get fooled by its look. It's quite powerful, allowing you to map secondary layers like VIA and control the RGB and macros. The board has 1000Hz polling rate and NKRO, just like all the recent boards out there. So I don't think you're gonna face any issues while gaming. And just like all the recent keyboards out there, it has a native Mac mode that you can toggle with the flick of a button. But keep in mind that the software is for Windows only as of now. So that means that you can only take the advantage of this powerful software in Windows devices only. But I guess considering a $40 keyboard, this is what you would expect. The tri-mode variant also allows for connect over Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz dongle. And the connectivity should be great as advertised. Since the one I have is the wired only mode, I couldn't check the performance of wireless connectivity. Okay, now let's talk about the switches. The board comes in various switches option including TTC Superman, Otimo White Jet and Xinmeng Black Plum. I've tried all three and Xinmeng Black Plum is the best. Reason is that it's super smooth, thocky, deep sounding and can be used for all purposes including typing and gaming. This is a 5-pin switch made by KTT. The housing is made of nylon blend materials. The stem is POM with a 22mm elongated spring. The actuation distance is 2mm with 38 gram of actuation force and 3.3mm bottom out distance with 45 gram of bottom out force. So what does it translate to? The lower actuation force means you wouldn't give that much of a force during gaming. And since it uses a 22mm elongated spring, you can get a longer bottom out period during typing. This is one of my favorite linear switches. Whatever keyboard user you are right now, I recommend you to try this switch at least once. The combination of this switch, the mounting style, the polycarbonate plate and the dampening did wonders and made the board sound so good. They have the factory tuned plate mounted stabilizer, XP sheets, plate foam, case foam and silicone inside of the case. So let's see now how this board sounds in its stock config. This is undoubtedly the best sounding $40 keyboard out there, and nothing can beat it. Despite having the FlexCut PCB, the board sounded better, thanks to all the dampening and a good case. The stabs are well tuned and I didn't find any sorts of rattling despite the board being this cheap. The board is perfectly usable in pre-built configuration and sounds great with all the other switches as well. In the mix, I also threw in the MMD Princess Tactile, a super high-pitched switch just to show you that what the board exhibits, that is super deep and thocky. Xinmeng has done a great job with this keyboard. However, if you fancy taking it to the next level, you can do so by opening the board. It's pretty simple. Just insert the prying tool to open the top and bottom frames. Don't push it too hard though, as you might break some of these plastic clamps that hold the top and the bottom frames together. And I would recommend using a plastic prying tool instead of the metal ones that I have used. Also be careful with the JC cable as they are shorter. The USB-C has a separate module that allows for the board to flex, unlike the integrated Type-C input into the PCB. As for the mods, what you can do a layer of tape mod to cover the flex cuts, and that might give a bit of a fuller sound. Also, you can try adding some polyfill inside of the case. This will reduce the flex, so keep that in mind. And also you can try replacing the stock dampening materials with hand-cut P-sheets or polyfill. But honestly, I don't think it's necessary, as the board sounds great right out of the box. As the board is geared towards the people getting their first decent keyboard, it's better to use it at stock config. Okay, let's test some more sound tests with other switches and you be the judge of it. To be honest, these mods made the board a bit high-pitched, poppy and fuller. So if that is something you want from your board, you can do it. I would say that the stock spacebar was a bit nicer in my opinion. Now, on to the final verdict. Is it worth the buy? Yes, yes and yes. It's a must buy for the budget seekers in $40 segment. I like the M87 for its looks and top tier specs. It has a very affordable price, great switches and sound, and is almost perfect. As I've said before, the TKL is an accessible layout, and this board could be the ideal starting point for many people getting their first keyboard or for the people upgrading from their crap mecha membrane or mechanical keyboards. The base variant of M87 Pro is very decent as well if you can disregard the lack of full RGB and stock OTMU switches. For the price of $30, that is a very decent board, and down the line, just changing the switches will do the job. So I would say getting some of the super keyboards at between the 3K range from the likings of Gfriend, Yoso, getting this would be a lot better deal. Now, so far in the community after 6+ months, I haven't seen any sorts of issues with the board. But in my opinion, if the issues are bound to come, they would have within the first 6 months. So it's safe to say that this board has decent longevity. As for the alternatives, there is only one versus the wire variant, which is the F87. They both have similar gasket mounting styles, great cherry profile double-shot PVD keycaps, and comes in with thocky Leobog Graywood V3 switches. But it has North Facing RGB LED. So I do have an impression on this board, so you might want to watch this to get an idea. And then there is this Aegis AK820 if you need something 75% with knob. M87 is miles better in terms of stock sound. If you compare it with tri-mode variant, there is F87 again and Monka 3087 Pro. They look identical, have similar thocky stock switches, comes in with cherry profile double-shot PVD keycaps, and has similar gasket mounting. The only difference is that North Facing RGB LED. Plus the 3087 Pro has a tactile switch variant. If someone wants to get a keyboard with tactile switches, they can also consider that. Don't worry, I'll be covering all these boards in my coming videos, so you can get an idea and comparison with this board. There are sure other layouts in the price range like 75%, 65%, but for the newcomers, I think it's better to start with a 10 keyless format. So, with all the information out there, it's now up to you to decide. With that, I'm wrapping up for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see me covering more keyboards like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow my social media handles. With that, goodbye and have a great day.